Hello and welcome back to a new episode of Breaking Boundaries with Naluka. Thank you for joining me in this second episode of 2023 where I'm going to talk about what my stay in Chiang Mai was like as a digital nomad. Now, when I started off this year, I was actually feeling pretty apprehensive about coming to Chiang Mai, coming to Thailand. I'd had an amazing trip with my family in Australia. I had had some really good times in Europe, nomading there, and I was pretty apprehensive about coming to Asia and staying here for a month or so. And again, I was leaving my family, I was leaving people I knew before, and it felt like this was going to be harder because I'm also on the other side of the world with a time difference. And so actually, I wasn't that excited about coming to Thailand. I was very apprehensive, but I often find in life when you are a bit apprehensive and you know that you're deep down, you know you're going to enjoy something, even though there are a lot of doubts, I always find just go for it. And that mentality has proven correct in this instance, again, because I'm so glad I came to Chiang Mai. And in this video, I want to talk about what it's like as a nomad here and what you can expect. So, Chiang Mai is one of the most original digital nomad spots out there. What I mean by that is even before COVID, it was very popular for remote workers, and it's very easy to see why. There are amazing coffee shops here to work. The internet is really fast. You've got co-working spaces, which I'm going to talk about, and you've got this amazing nomad community that year on year is just getting bigger and bigger. And I would say out of all the cities I've been to, Chiang Mai is probably the best built for digital nomads, followed by Valencia, followed by Croatia. And I want to talk about why that is and give you a little bit of an insight into all the different aspects. So firstly, I want to talk about the co-working spaces because I'm very excited by them. Now, when I was here, I stayed in Yellow, or rather I stayed at Yellow, which was a co-working space, and that was where I would work. So I really loved Yellow as a co-working space. It was pretty high end, and what I mean by that is you would use your fingerprints to get in and outside the building. There were drinks that were included in the membership. It was very high end in terms of the furniture and the setup, and the internet was fantastic. There were hammocks outside. There was a net that was above me that you could just sit on if you wanted to kind of like take time out. It was an amazing co-working space, and that is one of my favorite places in Chiang Mai to work. There are a couple of other ones as well. There is Pun Space, and then there also is Camp, which is at the top of the Maya Mall. And so Chiang Mai, fantastic for co-working spaces. If you are someone who works alone, like me, then it is really good to go to these. Now, I never actually went to a co-working space in Valencia or in Croatia. This is the first time I've tried it out, and honestly, I don't know why I wasn't doing it much before. I would sometimes go to coffee shops, etc., but not a co-working space, and I loved it because you have your community there, you can meet people. It's like an office feel, even if it isn't an office feel, even if you're all working for different organizations or working on different companies. It was fantastic to be able to meet people, and so Chiang Mai, really good for co-working spaces. Second element that I want to talk about is the food. So Thailand is known to just have fantastic food, and Chiang Mai in particular, anyone who goes to the city will rave about the food, and it's very easy to see why. There is so much variety at fantastic, crazy prices. Some of the best spring rolls I've ever eaten were 75p, literally a street food stand. I remember in my first week, I was having a meal for like £1, £1.20. I just couldn't believe how good the food was and at the prices that you can get it for. There's obviously also all the fruit that you can imagine, coconut, fresh coconut that you can drink out the coconut nut. There is jackfruit, there's pineapple. I tried mangosteen for the first time. I also tried durian for the first time. Didn't like durian, known to be the world's smelliest fruit, in case you don't know that. But the food is just fantastic, and there are so many street food stands everywhere. There are also the night markets, which are very famous. people will come and sell various things, not just food, but also little ornaments and anything you can really imagine. But the food at the night markets is fantastic. And there are some local dishes called koi sai. I'm definitely saying that wrong, but it is a very famous local northern Thai dish. It's like a noodle soup with chicken. And then also mango sticky rice, my personal favorite, mango sticky rice and this like coconut creamy sauce. It is delicious. So Chiang Mai is a fantastic place for food. If you're a foodie, you're in luck. Third aspect about Chiang Mai is the weather. Now, best time to go is from November to mid-February. I was here January to early February and every day was sunny. Weather was beautiful, temperature was great, wasn't too humid, which was really good. But if you're going mid-February to about April, then it's not a good time to go. The reason I say that is because it's known as burning season in Chiang Mai. That is where the local farmers will burn the leftover crops. Now, because Chiang Mai is in a valley, what happens is there's loads of smoke, smog, combined with the pollution, and everything just builds up, and it's a horrible time to stay in the city. I've been told, and I also did my research before coming about this. Apparently last year, so 2022, it wasn't so bad. The local authorities were trying to bring in a bit of restriction to make the smog and the pollution not so bad, but it is a risk. And so if you're thinking about nomading in Chiang Mai, I would say try and avoid that time from mid-Feb or Feb, March, April, I would try and avoid. Sometimes people don't even leave home during that period. They'll have extractor fans. And so if you're in the city, you probably don't want to be staying at home every day. Therefore, go at a different time of the year. Aside from that, the weather here is beautiful. And I feel very lucky as well because I got to start off the year in a very warm place rather than in the coldness of the UK. Okay, fourth element to talk about here is the cost of living. Now, the cost of living is very good. If you didn't already realise, I mentioned about the food. Food is super, super cheap. Rent here is also cheap. If you are staying for a long period, you can get rent for about £350 a month, which is fantastic. Getting around is also cheap. Taxis for a 15-minute ride will be about £2. And so you very quickly get used to this very good cost of living, and you realize your money can go much further than probably in a lot of other countries. I remember having a coconut smoothie on my second day here, and I was just in awe that it was 80p, because if that was in London, probably it would have been about £3.50. So it's crazy, however, how your mindset shifts to the local currency. Just as an aside, I remember I had a meal for about 50 baht, which is about just over £1 or so. And I then that evening went to a nomad meetup, and I was at the bar and I ordered a sparkling water, and sparkling water was 70 baht. And I couldn't believe it. I thought it was super expensive because I'd just eaten a meal for less than a glass of sparkling water, and even 70 baht is still much cheaper than what you'd get in a lot of bars in the UK. But I was like, oh whoa, that's really expensive. Even though it wasn't, your mind really does shift to the local currency and how much normally things are, etc. I will say, however, that what isn't cheap here is imported foods. So if you're wanting to get cereal, pasta sauce, all the things that are non-Thai, that are imported from other countries, that actually is pretty expensive. So overall, cost of living here is cheap, but be warned, with imported food and imported materials, you are going to be paying a premium on that. And finally, I want to talk about the local culture and the surroundings, because Chiang Mai is honestly a fantastic contrast of East versus West. You have this amazing remote nomad expat community here, but then you also contrast that with the incredible local culture, with such an interesting, fascinating culture that you can completely immerse yourself in. So for me, one of the things that I really found enjoyable and loved going to were the temples. There are over 300 temples in Chiang Mai city alone. The most famous is the Wat Chedi Lung and the Wat Phra Singh. and I went to those, but there are many, many more, and I found them such beautiful, peaceful places and really, really interesting. You also have the Doi Nathian Park, which is also very famous. It's a beautiful park and it's got the highest point in all of Thailand. And then there are other things you can do, like go and see the elephants. For me, that was really a highlight of my stay. I've always wanted to see elephants and I never have before, apart from maybe in a zoo at a distance. And this was really great. It was at a sanctuary. We were very close to the elephants. We walked through the jungle with them, and that was one of those moments in your life which you will never forget. So there is so much to do in Chiang Mai, but also outside of Chiang Mai. There's also the Sticky Waterfalls, which was this waterfall where you can walk up the waterfall. You're not slipping anywhere. The stone is limestone and you can just grip your feet, which is amazing. So lots to do, and whenever you have your free time at the weekend, there's so much to see, so much to go and immerse yourself in. And in terms of getting around, there are tuk-tuks you can take. There are also songthais, which are these red pickup trucks that are kind of like a taxi, kind of like a van, and they'll pick you up and take you on whatever route it was going on. So people will just hop on and off. That's super, super cheap. But you can also take a Grab taxi. That's what I used most of the time. It's a little bit like an Uber, pretty much works the same way for pretty good prices, and you can get around the city. I will say Chiang Mai is not really a walking city. So when you are here, you are going to need to use Grab car, motorbike, whatever it is to get around, rather than walking everywhere. You can walk a little bit, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not really a walking city. And in terms of the language, well, most Thai people speak English, but not all. And I think that was something that did surprise me initially. I thought everyone would be super fluent in English. I was very wrong, probably naively. So you don't have to learn Thai to be a digital nomad in Thailand for sure, but it is good to just know a couple of phrases just to integrate yourself a little bit more with the local culture. So overall, I would say it is one of the best cities I've been to as a digital nomad. Like I said at the start of the video, I was very apprehensive about coming here. I wasn't really sure what to expect. Wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it, but I can tell you that it's a fantastic place to work and a fantastic place to also see so much of a different culture. Overall, I would rank the co-working spaces as 5 stars, the food as 5 stars, the weather as 3 stars, only because it really depends on what time of year that you come. When I was here, it was fantastic, but if you come a little bit later during burning season, not so good. Cost of living, I would give 4 stars. Overall, it's super cheap, but imported food and the occasional Western product will cost you more. And local culture, I would have to give that 5 stars because it's just a fascinating place to go to, and you see a totally different world, a totally different place and way of living than what you may have seen before. So Chiang Mai, really recommend it as a nomad city. Really recommend going if you are someone who can work remotely and you're thinking about what city to go to. I'd really recommend Chiang Mai, and I hope that was helpful and has given you an insight into the city. See you next time.